Do you yearn for travel that involves outdoor adventure and learning? I do. I also have a passion for all things farming and agriculture. I've traveled to exotic jungles to learn about growing chocolate. I even once owned my own organic vegetable and sunflower farm. And now I'm planning my journey back to agriculture. Agritourism, defined as travel that involves some type of agricultural experience. Agritourism is all about entertaining. But the marketing strategist in me knows that at its core, agritourism is really about educating, and education affects change. My future farm needs to deliver a profound experience to all of its visitors. It needs to educate people about food, health, and climate. Join me to learn from experienced agritourism farmers and entrepreneurs and help me build my future farm strategy. And who knows, maybe one day soon you'll find yourself in a tropical jungle cutting open cacao pods with a machete, or savoring an outdoor plant-to-plate community dinner with 100 guests at a farm in Illinois. So let's tap into the agritourist in you. Welcome to the Agritourist Podcast. This is Jen Ross. I had the pleasure of speaking with a mother-daughter team. Well, actually, in real life, they are a mother-daughter-father team, but Dad likes to stay behind the scenes. Thea Hall is the owner, vintner, and farm caretaker of Broken Spoke, a boutique winery on Maryland's Eastern Shore with a unique focus on animals and communication styles. You will understand more about what that means when you listen. Maggie Hall, Thea's daughter, is the social media, events, and wine club management guru for Broken Spoke. Thea describes Broken Spoke as 3 separate businesses. The first business is growing the wine, the second is making the wine, and the third is marketing the wine. And she is very right about these 3 being very distinct businesses that require very different skill sets, experience, and know-how. When I asked about the relationships with a mother, daughter, and father team running a business, I loved how Thea and Maggie responded. Thea describes her husband as the doer who gets the cart rolling, and Maggie describes her mom as the person who steers and puts all the road signs up to tell her father where to go. And Maggie, well, she fixes all the flats. I think that is a pretty impressive and collaborative team who have each found their strengths and figured out how to most effectively manage all 3 businesses that make up Broken Spoke, Vineyard, and Winery. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Thea and Maggie Hall. So hello, Thea, Maggie, right?
Yeah, that's Maggie.
Okay. Yes, yeah. So first, before we get started, so you guys opened in 2017, correct?
Mm-hmm.
June.
Yes.
So
23rd.
June 23rd. Yeah, that's what it said. So before we talk about your vineyard and all that it has to offer, talk to me about your backgrounds. How did this come to be?
You first. So I'm an agriculture major from the University of Delaware, and we purchased the farm with my parents back in 2000. And we used to host horse shows, breed horses, board horses, all that kind of stuff. And we reached a point where we either were going to sell it or just do something else with it. And we went to another winery in Maryland and loved it and thought, let's try it. So that's how we started. And Maggie was in high school when we planted the vines?
We first planted the vines. I was a senior in high school, getting ready to go. I think they were expecting to be bored when I left the house, so they kind of started a new business.
That is true, though.
Very busy.
Wow. So, okay. So you saw another vineyard, and I see. I've had a farm, vegetable and sunflowers. And then when I look at vineyards, I get very intimidated by, not that there's not a lot of work on the vegetable sunflower side of the fence, but vineyards have a whole new level, like a whole nother level. So how did you decide, okay, I'm definitely doing this, investing in this? Because I'm sure there was an education curve there.
Yeah,
there always is.
Yeah.
I don't know, with vineyards, it just seems like a little bit more, especially because it's also a very competitive world, you know. I don't know, just around here, I know it is. So just curious, like what the thought process was there from a business perspective.
Well, probably not a whole lot of thought process. That's the problem. So I'm an ag major and my husband's a foodie. So we started and we just researched it a lot. And it's not, I mean, we're still trying to get to the economics of the grapes part. In Maryland, it's not the most economical place to grow grapes. So we work with a lot of other vineyards as well. And because he has a job, he has his own business in construction, we utilize that labor because it is the winemaking process in the vineyard is not conducive to full-time help. I mean, I'm sure you get that with sunflowers and things like there's certain times of
Absolutely.
the year where you need lots of labor, but you can't afford to have those full-time laborers there all the time because it doesn't support it. So luckily with his business, we use some of his labor on the days when we are desperate for labor.
Got it.
What
Okay.
drew you to the business is that it has such an overlap between science and art. I think with a lot of agriculture, there's a lot of science involved, but it was exciting for, I mean, my dad especially, to have like that foodie influence. Yeah, and it's a value added agriculture. So there's a lot you can do with it rather than, I mean, growing sunflowers is fun, but you can't, there's not a lot to do with the sunflower after.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, I think it was exciting to have like the opportunity to do a lot with a grape rather than have grapes.
Right. Absolutely. So when did you plant the first grapes then?
2015,
2014.
2014.
2014.
And then, so between 2014 and 2017, what happened? What was going on to transform the property?
So we have a barn on site that's a 6-stall horse barn. Was, yeah. And so that became a tasting room. So it took about that long because we did it all ourselves. We didn't refinance or we didn't hire an outside company.
Yeah.
My husband's in construction, so we, used old fence boards. We used whatever was left over from job sites. Really tried
That's great
that.
though.
Yeah, they're very, very inexpensive.
Excellent. So now, Maggie, so you were graduating, they started planting grapes. How did you get involved? Yeah, so I was gonna
Bolted out of here. He's like, see you later.
Like,
Good luck
bye.
with your business. Yeah, and then I went to college. I originally started out with a psychology degree, but I pivoted to an economics degree.
My daughter's taking economics. She's a senior now in college, so
how'd she like it?
yeah. She absolutely loves it.
Me too. I love it.
She was always a business major, but never a math person too. And then she gravitated to economics, and now it's like she's doing these linear regressions that are like 10 pages long, and I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. No, it's cool. But it's so applicable to business.
It's like the psychology of money.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah, I
have to tell her that.
Where's your daughter going to college?
I'm in New York, so she's going to a state university in New York, Geneseo, so all the way up by Rochester, basically.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, she's economics, sustainability.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, she did a lot of work with a chocolate and coffee company, and she was in Mexico visiting coffee and chocolate farms this summer. Yeah, she's very. I've done a lot of visiting to chocolate farms in a lot of Central American countries, and she visited me with one. Well, in the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic, because we had friends there, and she has a lot. And she grew up farming with me, so she has a lot of interest in the food space, the agriculture space when it comes to economics. So she probably should talk to you.
Yeah, I would love to connect with her.
Yeah,
Chocolate and
I think
chocolate.
that
Well, not to misquote, but I think it was Ben and Jerry's who sent out like some big marketing talking about the depletion of chocolate and coffee, and the need for sustainability in those spaces.
yep, absolutely.
Which was a
Absolutely.
big motivating marketing piece for us.
Get it now.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, I definitely need to connect you two. Maybe she can come visit.
Yeah,
I'm sure she would love
21.
that.
Yes, she's graduating.
She's one more year. Yeah. Well, yeah, actually this September. Yeah. God, I can't believe it. It's crazy. Okay. So I presume you were coming home in the summers from school and saw what was going on and what was your viewpoint of this as you were watching it evolve?
Um,
Get me out.
no, I kind of got involved right away because of the need for marketing. Um, and not to say that I had any knowledge on the subject, like starting off, but I think that my starting point was Instagram, Facebook, and kind of learning how to,
That's the content.
yeah, send out emails, get on the website, really develop those skills. And that's kind of how I've been involved since. I've gotten more involved
Okay.
in the like event planning, and just marketing more generally. But yeah, so I kind of was involved right off the bat just for the need of it. And I kind of saw how fun it was marketing. um, yeah, the art of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, so you launched in 2017. And so I know that so I saw the little map on your I just hit cut and pasted on. I like that map. So, did it look like this in 2017 or did you only have certain spots? I know you have the barn, the hub, the sipping stables.
Yeah. It really started with the sipping stables. And then of course COVID. Right before COVID, we started to launch a farmer's market, and then COVID hit, and the farmer's market was the most popular thing in the neighborhood
Yeah,
for
I
a
can
while.
imagine.
the hub kind of sat there as our indoor riding arena for a long time, um, decently unused. And we were kind of planning on pivoting to having a more like event venue space out of it. It just kind of happened that that lined up with COVID's open air policies. So we kind of pushed to get that open. And now it's kind of, we have the store in there, we have a bar in there. But it really is more of our open space, with like the fairy lights overhead, the big open doors, um, outdoor seating, indoor, outdoor seating, kind of like a pavilion, I would compare it to.
Right.
So that building has always existed, but same with the tasting room, it kind of pivoted to be more wine focused than horse focused as the years progressed.
Yeah, we haven't built any more buildings. We just converted space from
Right.
one
Yeah.
purpose to another. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you still have horses?
We do.
Yes. They're called lawn
Okay.
ornaments.
They what?
They're called lawn ornaments. They make the lawn look very pretty.
So do people come to see the horses and experience the wine? I know we have a vineyard here that I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a horse rescue, right? As part of, it was kind of the back. So obviously it was a big draw for people to come see the, rescue horses and stuff like that. So is that how, is that part of your marketing?
Accidentally, probably.
Okay.
But the horses were here before the wine was. And the horse people were like, I can't believe you planted grapes in the pasture. And I said, I liberated the pasture from the horses because they're pretty hard on the ground. And I planted the vines where the horses used, one of their fields. But the horses are still here. I think we still have 7, and all of them were born here, so they're not leaving. But
I would never call it a marketing plan, the animals, but they've kind of your love
I
of
don't know
wine
what
and your
came-
love of animals
Yeah.
kind of built the place.
I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit about your wines, because your wines, a lot of the labels though are reflective of
Animals.
animals. Now,
They're
are these
all animals,
personal animals, or are these just
No,
talk to me about that?
Every animal on the label we have on the farm or have had on the farm. So they're very personal labels.
Yeah. So we have donkeys. So the name, should we go to the name?
You can talk about
Yeah, please.
Broken Spoke was something that my husband thought of while we were planting the grapes. We were trying to think of a name. And he said, oh, we should call it Broken Spoke, like fat tire. Because he and I both used to drive carriages, and we always wanted to do something with carriages. And so he said Broken Spoke, like fat tire. And then my sister said, you should do a double entendre for Broken Spoke, meaning speak. And so all the wines are named after types of conversation. So our quote, our motto is take a break, start a conversation. And so the wines are like chit chat, blah blah, babble, murmurs, wordplay, tattletale. Yeah, so we stay on a theme of conversation, but it lends itself to the animals. Like hey has the alpacas on it, and each wine label has a little catchphrase on the bottom, like the hey says alpaca the wine, and fill in the blanc is the dog, and it says fetch up some wine or something. Isn't that sad? I don't know what it is. So I guess we do use the animals as marketing, but I didn't get the animals to use them as marketing.
No, I think the labels pay homage to
the residents of the farm.
Yeah.
So these are all animals that you've had or have currently? Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're appealing to a very large audience out there just by having the animals,
they love
whether they're real or not, as part of, if I see a bottle, that resonates to, with me. I'll always kind of be attracted to that. That's what this one particular farm did a lot with their rescue horses.
Yeah.
They had them on the labels, and it you felt like you were, supporting something special. So tell me about what types of wine you grow there. What grows there as far as wine grapes go. And just tell me a little bit more about that.
You want to, or you want me to?
So we grow a lot of hybrids. Hybrids are like a Vidal Blanc. We do a Chamberson.
Riesling?
There was. We tried Riesling, but it's not really working well. So
that's, a lot of grapes that we try have to be good with Maryland climate,
humidity.
Good with the soil that we have, good with the direction that our hill faces. A lot of things that you wouldn't think go into like grape growing in Italy are definitely things that we have to consider in Maryland. Like the humidity is a big one. Like we can't have grape clusters that are too close together because of the humidity. So for our reds, we tend to go more towards a Barbera is a really popular red in Maryland. It's a red that we like to use pretty often. Merlot is one that we like to use as well.
But it's very hard. It's hard to grow. So that's, and that's one of the things that people in Maryland, there are a few, like we sell everything we grow, and we're planting more next year, but we still get some other vineyards. We supplement, get their leftovers.
Okay.
Every year as well. So we sell more than we can grow. We can sell more than we can grow. So So we have to work on that.
So you pulling grapes from local Maryland vineyards or
Yes.
outside
Yeah.
of that as well?
No, it's all Maryland grapes. It's funny because they're all on the Eastern Shore. So like we're in Earlville, we go to Centerville, Sutlersville. I'm like, but we get them from all the villes. It worked out that way. Every town that has a ville in it, we're getting grapes from. But it's all Maryland grapes.
So do those vineyards have, obvious, I mean, I know things vary, soils vary and stuff, but do they have similar challenges to what you're facing, I presume,
Yes.
in the villas?
It's still humid, and it's a very sandy loam. Some people are just, they grow a lot of one, like the Chardonnay. They grow a lot of that Chardonnay, so they're very good at their spraying program. So it's easier for me to purchase 2 tons of Chardonnay from them than to try to do it myself.
Okay. Yeah. And then so on the white side, what are the best growers on the white side?
So I'd say there's a Vidal Blanc, which is a hybrid, and it's a very versatile grape. You can make it dry, you can make it sweet, semi-sweet. You could add flavor to it.
It's very fruit forward.
There's a Sauvignon Blanc that's pretty good. The Chardonnays are hard.
Tremonette is actually
Chardonnay's good.
a pretty popular grape in Maryland. It was developed by Cornell. It's a hybrid. And it has like a cognac type flavor to it, and there's a lot you can do to it. It's I think one of the more interesting grapes that hasn't really been discussed.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because a lot of people, especially during COVID, would come out and ask for a Chardonnay, and you're like, let's try something different. Let's try this. Let's try that. And so that was like Tremonette is a hard one because nobody's really ever heard of Tremonette. But we've really got a good demand for it now.
Excellent. Excellent. So what are the most popular, like what your customer base, what are the most popular wines with them that you have?
A lot of people who are new to us will ask for grapes that are pretty common. So you're talking like Merlots, Chardonnays, and something pink is usually what they say. But I would say the people who shop here often usually sway towards like the heavier red blends and the like complex whites, the ones that are blended, not sweet, not dry, kind of fruit forward, have a lot of flavor to them. Right? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't
like
say
grunting.
super. I wouldn't say super. Yeah, the Gruner. I wouldn't say super dry, but not sweet either. We call it semi-sweet, but it's almost drier than semi-sweet.
Yeah,
Excellent.
they're more popular.
Yeah.
So after you planted, and I don't know what happens, which harvest you can start, using right away. Like, how is that process? And like, who's in charge of making it into wine?
Yeah, from vine to wine is pretty intricate process because the growing of the grapes themselves, it takes a whole program. The collecting of grapes is once they are harvest ready, it has to be done pretty quickly. And then once it goes from harvest to process, that also needs to be done pretty quickly. But then from process to wine bottle, that can take anywhere from a month to years, depending on how you want to process it.
Yeah, it is. It's my husband Rob does that. It's quite interesting, but it's we get called down there once in a while. We get to do tasting trials and things like that, and then I'm always on his case about the volumes because I know what we collected and what the weight is and what we should have in juice and where we are in juice. But you can blend things and you can, some things will sit in a barrel longer. And I'm the one that has to order the bottles and the labels. And I'm like, I need the numbers now.
He's a really good chef.
Yeah. He's not an economics major.
But she remains his manager.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
It is hard for many reasons. So you guys do a lot of events at the farm, or is it more at the farm? Well, it is farm, but do I know you have. I saw a bunch of things on your website. So Maggie, how do you bring in customers? How do you retain customers? I know you have a wine club program. So tell me about that.
Yeah, there's so much. We like to stay busy, not particularly because it's a great marketing scheme, but because it's fun for us. We are always coming up with new event ideas, things that we think would be fun to attend, and therefore we like to host them. Um, as for getting new customers down the road, I think that comes to really, I don't know, becoming a place that has faces behind it. We're family owned, and I think that's one of our things that I'm most proud about. And that we have exciting things to do and exciting things to try almost all the time.
Yeah, so you host your own events. Do people, I presume people come and can rent space or do private events there or no?
We do private events. I wouldn't say that's our main focus, but
We do a couple weddings.
yeah, we like to do weddings.
Doing a fundraiser for a school, like lacrosse party.
But we do fundraisers as well. We work with
There's a family animal shelter, Colorectal Cancer Alliance, and the Red Devils, which is a nonprofit for women fighting breast cancer.
Yeah,
Nice.
so we like to do a lot of those events focused on fundraising. Some other events we like to do are kind of focused more on the wine tasting. And then we do offer private events as well.
Yeah, we do a soil to soul.
Yeah, that one's fun.
That one's fun. So
What is that?
it's like a farm to table, but it's soil to soul. So every month we have one day where we'll do a seasonal product. Like we had strawberries one time, and we had somebody that grows strawberries, and my husband, obviously the foodie, was doing like 4 different strawberry themed, not entrees, but tapas, maybe is the right word.
Yeah, you can call them plates, like, yeah,
But it was so interesting because people don't
pairings.
know how strawberries grow. They don't know that they're really not a berry, So we had an oyster one, we had a
Honey one was
peach,
fun.
honey, the dairy, we
Chocolate.
had the cheese guy come. So it's
Nice.
really interesting because those are really our best customers come to those.
Yeah, and we get to work with local farms and pair our wine to it. It's really fun.
Yeah, definitely. And so the wine club, how does that work? And is that something you implemented a while ago, or is that something recent?
We're redoing the
No,
wine club, or it has to be edited with our new system. So I don't know if I want to
Well,
the podcast.
So this is one of those learning curves, right?
And that's honestly what what this is the reality of farming or any business. You do learn as you go, and this is how we learn and we get better.
So when we opened up, it was just very small, right? And so in our infinite wisdom, we thought, well, we will just sign people up for a wine club, and as long as they commit to buying 2 cases a year, they can stay in wine club. Which the logistics of making sure somebody buys 2 cases of wine a year was more difficult than we had anticipated. So COVID hit, and we took the easy way out, and we let our POS system just give them rewards, which is not necessarily the best way to do it. So then I thought, well, I'll just keep the rewards, and we'll start a pickup club, and that'll go through our website, which is a Squarespace website. And so now we had a POS system and a website, 2 different
Working on
boxes
2
of
different,
information
yeah.
that don't
Trust me,
talk to each other.
I've experienced things like this.
So recently I just started with a new
Learning about a new system.
software system that will be our POS Wine Club website. It'll be an all-in-one. Of course,
Nice.
you got to pay them a percent of your sales, but it's a cost.
I think not only wine club, but a lot of aspects of small business, you have what you want to offer individuals, but the constraints that you have in the technology available and then the price point at which that technology is available it's a real hindrance on what you're able to actually bring to the public.
Yeah, and because it's wine, we have a little bit different restrictions than, like, for instance, I know I buy some products from Fair, which is a web-based, multiple suppliers, like Etsy kind of, right? Fair. And Barn Door, which where our cheese guy puts his products. So as a winery, we are not allowed, there's no
Space for us.
yeah. Yeah, there's no software out there for alcohol products. So it's kind of its
Wow.
own, and it's not a restaurant, it's not a bar. So the software for those companies don't match what we're doing either. So it's a very niche kind of software that you require to grow.
Interesting. Yeah, Maggie, to your point, that's a huge challenge. You have these great ideas, and technology, there's so much technology out there, but it's not always applicable, or to get it or make it applicable, it costs a lot of money. I find, because I work with a lot of small clients in my marketing business development side of my business, and it's a constant challenge. And that POS challenge of online versus offline and having two systems is a huge challenge as well. So I get it. I totally get it. So you found some potential software to do it all?
I hope so.
We are hoping.
We're working on it there.
It never hurts to be optimistic.
You don't look convinced, Maggie.
It's a website we build and a data migration and
It's a lot. I know.
I think, yeah,
It's
there's
a lot.
certain risks with taking on new technology, but also the amount of time and energy that it takes to incorporate new technology. It's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, you guys open year round?
yes.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Well, we create events that I try to make it wine forward, but fun. I mean, we don't do just like a tasting with somebody. Our flights are like horseshoes. We do a chat. Well, we're changing the name of it to Sip Sip Surprise.
Yeah.
But where you try wines and you try to figure out which wine it is. And so we do that. We do a wine bingo. So during the winter, we really have like wine bingo trivia days. And
I like that.
people are looking for things to do.
Yep.
We try not to be a place we try not to be a bar where they sit and drink. Let's learn about the wines and let's make it fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for each of you, what's your favorite event that you host and your favorite wine? Thus far. Thus far.
So I'm going to have, for an ongoing event, I'm going to say like wine bingo and trivia. But for my fun event is the Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Did you
you
ever
have
watch
to explain that.
Did
Yes,
you ever watch-
no, I did. Yes, I have.
So we
I'm
have a
very
whole
familiar.
night of grape stomping and chocolate conveyor belt.
I love
And
that.
yeah. So it's fun because it brings the wine aspect and nostalgia. We have one woman that has a daughter she named Lucy after Lucille Ball and brings her dressed up in character every year. So it's really, I don't want to say it's generational, but maybe it is. Like younger people will think it's funny because there's so many episodes that you can relate to.
I love that. That's great.
All right, your turn.
And then
I do like wine bingo and trivia a lot. I host the trivia portion and she hosts the wine bingo portion. So it is very entertaining to come out. And it's kind of fit into a date night package where we encourage two individuals to kind of share a bottle of wine, do wine bingo, and do trivia together. And that one's always fun because you always get to learn about the wine. Trivia is always themed about something going on. Really entertaining for everyone.
Yeah, we did a Friendsgiving like before Thanksgiving, and it was busy because it's Friends, like
Yeah.
it's the TV show Friends, and that's kind of so popular. But it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, man. The questions were hard.
They were trivia. Yeah.
that's what makes it good. And what about your favorite wines so far? Because I know obviously there are new creations, I'm sure, that might be coming down the pike.
Well, picking your favorite wine is like picking your favorite child. Even if you have one, you're not supposed to say it.
No, I like the what you call it.
I think she's fine with saying no.
I drink the what you call it, and it's so because I named it what you call it because people are like, wait, what's the name of this? It's like, yeah, what you call it, and because it's a white blend. It's my husband made it, and we just put it
That
out
sounds
this year,
good.
and it's selling great, and it's just easy to drink. You don't have it.
Easy drinking wine.
What about giggles?
Giggles is good. I think I'm swaying more towards the reds lately, though.
Oh, really?
Like Babel. Babel's a Barbera, kind of similar to a Pinot Noir. It has like that oak, that vanilla. But the Traminettes I really like because every time you try a Traminette, it's wildly different. Like the first Traminette we had, which was honestly not our most popular because the educational curve on learning what a Traminette
and it was dry. We fermented it dry. So
It
smelled sweet, but it wasn't sweet.
Yeah, it smelled like honey, but it tasted like citrus, and I really liked it. But it was not popular. And then the way we're doing Traminette now, it has a little bit of sweetness to it, and it still has like that like characteristic Traminette flavor where it's like citrusy, kind of honey-like, kind of sort of similar to a cognac. And it's fun. It's a really fun wine, and I like that one a lot.
Do you ship all over the US or
We don't
I'm
ship
sure
at all.
We don't ship
Oh, you
anywhere.
don't ship at all? Like I didn't know I know there's so many rules. I can't even.
Yeah, each state has its own rules. So like we are very close to the state of Delaware where we are. So a lot of people come from Delaware where there's no sales tax. And they come into the state of Maryland where we have 9% sales tax on alcohol. So one of the things is we're like, join wine club, and it's like not paying your sales tax. But we can't sell in the state of Delaware without having a distributor. So we're not in the state of Delaware. They have to drive it.
Okay.
And it's only 15 minutes maybe. But
yeah,
we get all these people that come over and they're like, oh my God, I came all the way from another state.
I'm from out of state.
It's not that far.
So one other question. I just have one very important question. So how is it working with mother-daughter? How does that work?
It, right?
I like it. She's not so much.
Well, I mean, because I imagine I have two daughters and a son, and I could think there might be some really good aspects of it, but I also am like, wow, I don't know how that would work. So, I mean, how you've been working together for how long now? For a while.
Since 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your husband, layer that on.
Oh.
That's why you're doing the podcast.
Tell you that I'm a fire sign. Maggie's a fire sign. My husband's a fire sign. So we're very strong-willed.
I'm not a fire sign.
You're not? You're a cusp.
Yeah.
Anyway. But Maggie and I do a Facebook Live every other week.
Yeah.
Wine Wednesday. And it's funny because we have the same sense of humor. So we'll finish each other's sentences in that respect. And so people are like, "Oh, we love watching your Facebook Live because you guys are so funny." We went roller skating one time on Facebook.
That was dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't recommend doing that.
But we do a good job with that. Sometimes we miscommunicate. We try to send each other emails versus like just saying things because we'll forget stuff. Maggie has a lot going on in her life. She's working on her master's degree, and
Oh, congratulations.
she lives on the farm with my father, helping take care of him. So it's a lot going on.
There's a lot of hats. I think if you were to only wear the hat of working together as mother-daughter, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I would have found myself in a sales-based business by myself.
Yeah. I think we started this venture and I didn't realize it was really 3 businesses. Like first you grow the grapes, that's business 1. Business 2 is making the wine, and business 3 is marketing the wine. So I think I was a little naive when I started.
Was that a good thing though?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. You know, when
Depends on the day.
Honestly, when we planted the grapes, my husband I was still researching, and he's like, I ordered a bunch and we're planting them for your birthday. And we're having a big party and we're having a planting party. So it's probably good that he did that, because if I had slowed down and done more research, maybe I wouldn't have done it. It would have been too scary. So
It's tough. I mean, it's a lot, but I think it's great. And so your husband, how does he reflect on it now?
how does he reflect on
He's
it?
a big reflector.
What do you think?
He's a big
Doer. He's a doer.
yeah. He's the one who gets the car rolling. My mom's the one who steers, and I'm the one who fixes the flats.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the one running in front of him trying to put road signs up, tell him where to go. Oh, no, don't do that.
I like that analogy. That was good.
So that's what we do here.
I think it's great. So just to kind of end this, so besides a new wine club strategy and technology, any plans for going forward, anything you're thinking of or want to do, or or exploring any collaborations, partnerships, anything that you're bringing new to the table?
We're going to try to ship wine more. We're going to start shipping. But we have more land. And I'd love to do like wildflowers, or, again, I'm scared because it seems like a lot of work, but we have this space for more diversification other than
Okay.
wine. I'm just not sure what to do. But we've looked at yurts for glamping.
I'm going to tell you that many of the businesses I've spoken to, and you can listen to some of the podcasts, that is the potential of bringing people in and letting them stay in whatever capacity you decide seems to be funding many businesses these days. It's that ongoing stream of income that you're getting in. It is a business into itself, don't get me wrong, and it comes with certain challenges. You're dealing with people, but you're already dealing with people. Look at what you're doing already. But from what I see, it definitely is, it brings in a really good stream of income to fund other things that you want to do. So I definitely would benchmark and talk to some other people doing it. But if you have the land, that's the hardest part. And you have a husband who knows contracting, how to build things. Those are 2 things, I mean, that are barriers to entry for most people. They want to do something like this, but it's a very lucrative industry, and most places are adding that. There's a really cool, one of my segments was with a company up in Buffalo who They have an organic blueberry farm, and they have the Blueberry Treehouse Cafe. The husband was a builder, accidentally got into treehouse building. He built this treehouse cafe that, is now a major attraction. And now they're building tree houses for people to stay in, like, like an Airbnb type of situation. So it's become this whole, it's all intertwined.
Yeah.
But you create a unique place, destination for people to actually stay as well. And especially when you're drinking wine, it would be nice to just roll over to a yurt or someplace to stay right there instead of thinking about transportation. But I think it's a fabulous idea. And then you could plant flowers in the field around it. Flowers are beautiful, but everything. But you shifted from a horse-based business, an animal-based business, to managing a vineyard. You could do anything, Thea.
Well, I always say that the wine drinkers, you close and then go home. It's kind of like boarding horses when you start having people on your farm 24 hours.
It's a whole different level. And that's why I talk to people who have done it.
Yeah.
There's positives and negatives to every business, as you know. So, congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I think it's pretty amazing.
Oh, thank
And
you.
when you do ship, I mean, I don't know. Well, I live in New York now, but when I get down your way, I guess I'll
think
buy
we
a
can
bottle
ship
of
to New
wine.
York.
Yeah, because
Don't worry about it.
when you are able to ship to New York, I definitely want to buy some. So thank you for taking the time. And Maggie, I definitely want to connect my daughter to
Send
you.
her down for her
Actually. So
21st.
I honestly think that's a fabulous idea. So I
Start
definitely will
her
do
wine
that.
journey.
Yes. I'll journey all the way down to a bunch of vineyards. That's a good trip, actually. So, all right. Well, thank you both. It's a pleasure speaking to you, and I wish you the best of luck with everything you're doing.
Yeah, nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you. Thank you.
I hope our AgriTourist podcast prompts you to think more about where your food comes from, whether it be your vegetables, fruits, meats, and even those sweet treats. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with someone you think may truly benefit from or be inspired by it. Visit us at agra-tourist.com. Until next time. As we are learning from many of our farmers and entrepreneurs, strong connections help propel our visions. Through my interview with Lisa Chase from the University of Vermont Extension and Vermont Tourism Research Center, I was connected to an exciting and new organization called the Global Agritourism Network, or GAN for short. The Global Network is made up of agritourism stakeholders from around the world. They include farmers and ranchers, researchers, educators, community planners, policymakers, agricultural service providers, and tour operators, among others. It is currently free to join, so if you have any interest in agritourism, check them out at agritourism.eurac.edu/GAN, or just Google Global Agritourism Network. The link will be in our show notes as well. You never know, this global network may help you take your agritourism vision to the next level.